Walks and Wags Pet First Aid is a pet first aid training and supply company. We offer pet first aid training across Canada and throughout the United States. Dogs that are suffering from heat stroke tend to start out having a lot of anxiety. They run around the vehicle with a lot of panting, sometimes whining and barking. As the symptoms become more severe, you'll notice that they become very quiet, laid down, almost look like they're sleeping. The first step for treating for heat stroke is confirming that it is in fact heat stroke. Dogs that are suffering from heat stroke will usually have brick red gums. When you peel back the mouth, the insides of their ears will be red. You'll notice that their saliva, instead of being runny, is more thick and stringy. To treat heat stroke, it's best to remove the animal from the hot area and move it somewhere cool. So maybe the inside of a vehicle that has air conditioning would be ideal. Find some cool water, but not too cold, because it's really shocking for them if you pour ice water or anything really cold onto them. And either submerge the animal in water or pour as much of it on them as you can. It's really important to monitor their vital signs. If you do have experience and you own a rectal thermometer, their temperature should hover somewhere around 38.5 degrees Celsius. So when you do complete the cooling process, double check that you haven't brought them too low. It's really important after treating for heat stroke to access a veterinarian. There's a lot of internal damage that can be done that may not be visible to a pet first aider.
On a hot day, I like to take Luigi to a park with water, a lake, a river, anything like that. During the summer, when it's hot, I keep Luigi happy and healthy with ice cubes. He's addicted to ice cubes. Doesn't matter if you rub it on his belly or he'll eat them, he'll do anything with it. Throw him in a lake, throw him in the river, he fetches, just any way to keep him cool, you know? Anything to keep him cool, which is usually water related.
On really hot days, we actually, both of them, earlier before the summer starts, we get them shaved. So on their underbellies, they've got no hair there. They've got a little less hair on their bodies as well. And so it just generally keeps their body temperature down. And then on super hot days, we make sure to hydrate them and generally keep the doors open and whatever else we can do to make sure there's airflow in the house.
If I saw a dog locked in a car on a hot day, I would not hesitate to phone the police, probably. I'd probably stand by maybe for a couple minutes, give that person a chance, right? Because you don't want to jump to conclusions, but still, no messing around. It's like leaving a baby in a hot car on a hot day. You just don't do it.
If I saw a dog locked in a car on a hot day, I would end up probably calling the SPCA or the non-emergency police line. But if it was in extreme distress, I would probably end up breaking the window.
If I think the dog's been there for over an hour and it's really hot, I'd break the window to get the dog out.
Yeah, that's a really tough one because you don't know how long they've been there, and you don't want to call the cops if someone just kind of nicked out to the store. But I mean, by watching, you can kind of tell, if they're in distress. And I guess if I had to break a window, there are usually like more people sort of gather if they see a dog in distress, and so you can kind of make a communal decision. You don't have to break into someone's car by yourself, but definitely at least get them some water.
I think the biggest mistake that people make is thinking that if they park in the shade and roll down the windows of their vehicle, that their pet is protected. However, they forget that when a vehicle isn't moving and there's no air circulation, the animal can become very, very hot. Also, the sun moves. So if you leave your vehicle for an hour or a couple of hours with your pet inside, they could be in the blazing heat in no time. Sometimes we hear about dogs that are accidentally left in a vehicle, police dogs, people's animals, that sort of thing. And I do have a personal story that explains how that can actually happen. One day I left my house to go to our P.O. box to pick up some mail, and Buddy looked longingly at me on my way out the door and wanted to come. So I thought, well, we're just going to the mailbox. It doesn't matter if it's hot outside. So brought Buddy with me, and I put him in the trunk of my vehicle, drove to get the mail, picked it up, drove back home, shut the car, and went back in the house. About 30 minutes later, I realized Buddy was in the vehicle. All of the windows were rolled up, and it was the dead of summer. Fortunately, I always leave water for my dog in the back of the vehicle. So he did have access to water, but you can only imagine how hot my vehicle was by the time I got back to it. When I did get to the back of the vehicle, Buddy was panting heavily. He had very red gums and showed all the classic signs of heat stroke. So the thing that we have to remember is human error can be one of the causes of heat stroke, and we are human and those things do happen. He's obviously still here today to share this story, and I think it's important to be honest and let people know that this can happen.